Welcome to the Black Knight Nation here. Sal Internado. Army offensive coordinator Brent Davis has been nice enough to give us a few minutes after practice today. Coach, good seeing you. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, I'm sure you feel that your share of questions about the quarterbacks this spring, right? And having four guys,
right?
Guys who had started last year back. I think maybe you might be the envy of some offensive coordinators, but how have you really worked like the reps and stuff? Because I know even guys like Maurice Ballan are even seeing reps along with a couple freshmen too. So talk to us a little bit about how that's worked out.
First of all, we're really excited about all those guys just as far as having that type of depth. And that's something that, we've worked really hard over the last 7 years to develop through recruiting and, retaining guys. And so it's been a process, to be honest, Sal. We would not have gotten through last season and had the type of season that we did without having that depth. But during the season last season, we were a little bit hamstrung and careful with what we ran with different guys because they hadn't had enough reps, doing it. For instance, Tyler was playing slot back and, moved the week of the UTSA game. So we kept everything very close to the vest. So our goal this spring was to make sure that all those guys could execute the entire offense. And so we could run more read plays, more ball handling type plays. And so we didn't have to be as close to the vest, and also to be able to work on throwing the ball a lot more efficiently. And I think they've done that really, really well. The execution plays have really improved. Really excited about that. The read plays that we're running with them, and we've thrown the ball well in scrimmages, thrown the ball well in practice, and Coach Worley's done an outstanding job getting those guys ready. And getting them to improve, but also getting them to buy in in the fact that they're going to compete against each other and sharpen each other every day. I mean, it's a quarterback unit, and there's a lot of, places you think, okay, that's their quarterback. We have a unit of quarterbacks here, and I think that's really special. They all have things they do a little bit better than others, and some there's facets of our offense that they execute better, but they're all very functional with everything right now, and I'm excited about that. So it's an ongoing competition. And one that'll continue into the fall, we think. But, as it goes, there's a good chance we're going to need all of them. And so I'm excited about that position.
Yeah, I was going to ask, you talked about maybe scaling down the playbook or plays for certain quarterbacks last year. Is there a little expansion of it in the spring a little bit for this season come up, considering now some of those guys who didn't have reps have that experience like a Cade Ballard and Tyler, and you can add a little bit more into the offense, or are we going to just pretty much see kind of the strict flex bone that we've been growing to know for the last few years?
I mean, we would like to become more explosive on offense, and create more big plays. You can do that through play actions, and you can do that through read plays, and the more people you don't have to block, the better off you are, and we didn't run a lot of read plays down the stretch last year in some games, and we just chose to kind of stay on schedule and try to be efficient and try to keep the ball away from the other team as best we could and win some games. But I think there's more offense in there, and that's what we're working on is I wouldn't say opening it up, but I would say using the facets of our offense that we know create problems for opposing defenses and kind of back to maybe a little bit more of what the triple option roots are. So,
yeah, I know during your time here, you've had some really talented, skilled players with the fullbacks and the slot backs and receivers. You return most, minus Sandon McCoy and Artis Hobbs, really most of your skilled players. So how do you feel about the skilled position guys toward the end of the spring and heading into the, to 2021 season?
Yeah, I feel about, the B-back group, I feel like is very similar to the quarterback group. We've got 5 guys there that can contribute, and they have different skill sets and different things that Coach Beatty will have them major in during the season, but they can all run everything that we'll do. And a guy like Wilson Cato, who we've added in there, is really done some great things and made a lot of progress in a short period of time. And of course, the guys that played last year. I mean, you had Tyson Riley, who played tight end the week before and is in there on the last drive of the Air Force game. And it's been great to see his development in the spring. Anthony Atkins, I mean, just with his, he's got a great upside and tremendous frame. He really was doing a good job last year, and then got banged up, for a while. Jacoby was solid. He was undefeated in short yardage situations last season for us, and then you got Cade Bernard, who is just solid and physical, and who's a little bit, kind of the leader of the group. So excited about those guys. And then at slot back, the guys that are coming back were young last year. Been impressed with their development as far as understanding the offense. A guy like Tyrell Robinson and Ijon Marshall, they were just they knew enough to survive and for us to be able to get them in the game last year. But now they're truly understanding where they fit and becoming students of the game, and they're playing a lot faster because of it. And so I really like that slot back group, and I feel about that like I do the quarterbacks. We've worked hard to develop that depth, and it's happened through recruiting and then retention and bringing guys from the prep school and things like that. But that's a really solid group, and one that they compete against each other every day, and they're competing for reps. So excited about them too.
Yeah, we got to ask you about the mob. Talked to Noah Napa last week about how that group's coming together, and 4 seniors graduate, but 7 guys who have started games last year return.
Right.
And I know Coach Munkin said there's maybe been some mixing and matching, and maybe certain guys aren't playing in scrimmages because they have that game experience. But what have you seen in that group, especially the younger guys like Jordan Law and Connor Finucane, who got that chance to start toward the end of the season? This has got to be a great experience in the spring for them to get even better heading into their sophomore years.
Yeah, no doubt. And one thing I love about the offensive lines every year is each year is its own unit, and it has to kind of develop its own personality and work ethic. And so those guys, that happens in the weight room, but also happens in spring practice. And so I think that part of it's really coming along. There's a great culture in that room. Those guys believe in, and that they really worked hard to form over the years. But as far as Connor and Booby Law, they should get better with every rep they take, and that's the only thing they lacked last year was that experience, which breeds confidence. And Connor played guard last year and was able to start and play in some important games. He was in the last play of the game against Air Force. We ran right behind him. He was the right guard. So we moved him out to tackle because we wanted to try to get some more push on the edge on some things with all odd fronts that we see and some of the zone option stuff. And so that's been an adjustment for him, but he's an exceptionally smart football player and just got a tremendous football IQ. And so things, as far as picking things up, it's been unbelievable how quickly he's picked things up. Now he just needs the repetitions. And then Jordan Law has such a great upside with his frame, his length, and actually he's really strong to be as long as he is. So I'm really excited about those two guys. And again, they're surrounded by some older guys who have played, guys like Dean Powell, Mason Kolinchak, and Connor Bishop, who continue to push them and make sure that they're bringing the work ethic that they need to every day to maximize their potential. So excited about the group. The sum of the parts is the most important thing. We would like to have 10 guys that we could roll in the game and play. We got close last year. We played 8 and sometimes 9 guys. We'd like to have 10 at least, where we could just take a whole group out and put the second group in. We're working towards that. Again, that feel good about our depth, but we just need to continue to develop some more guys.
Love when a football coach can make a hockey analogy, right? I mean, that's pretty cool. Just wanted to talk to you about how did you become like invested in the triple option? I mean, what was your first introduction to the triple option? Was it an early coaching job, or how did your love for the triple option or an option style offense grow?
So I've been very fortunate. I've only coached 3 places in my career. I guess this will be the 25th year I've coached. But started off at Georgia Southern, and I worked for Paul Johnson. That was 1997, and I was a graduate assistant for him. And Coach Munkin was actually on the staff. He was the slot back coach there at that time, and so I ended up staying there all 5 years he was there. And so we ran straight triple back then, only a few formations and a lot of triple option and the complementary plays. And that's the roots of the offense, and it's still the roots of what we do now here. It's evolved over the years just out of necessity and us seeing different fronts on defense or being able to evolve into maybe some shotgun things that we've done in the past. But the roots are still in that same triple option. But then when Coach Johnson left and went to Navy, I was able to stay on as the offensive line coach for Mike Sewak for the next 4 years. And then actually from there, I went to VMI and ran the same offense we ran as offensive coordinator before going back to Georgia Southern as the offensive coordinator. And so I've been fortunate. Everything we've done over my whole career is the roots have been in triple option. And sometimes we've been able to branch out and do other things like we did last year down the stretch a little bit just to maybe take pressure off the quarterback or just because we need to get the ball to a certain person. But the roots and the answers that we have are always going to be rooted in that. And so that's something we can always go back and hang our hat on. It's a selling point for our guys, something for them to believe in, but also it really helps to form the culture. And because the way you have to practice, I think is good for the culture of your football team. And that's been, I think we have a tough football team, and I think that the offense has a lot to do with that, just as far as the style of play.
There's a couple quick ones. One is, what are Taco Tuesdays like at the Davis household?
There's a lot of food, man. Cheese dip. The cheese dip is legendary, and that's a lot of food. So those guys stuff themselves pretty good. Right now with COVID, we got to limit the amount of guys we can come over, so we got to do more groups than just one. Have them all over at the same time. But something we've always loved doing. My wife, she does an unbelievable job. Just she loves to do it, and I'm very fortunate and cook for those guys. And so we have a good time. That's a part of our culture too, Sal. Just we're fortunate here that we live on campus and being able to bring the guys over, I think, and get them around our families is huge. Giving them kind of an outlet from everyday life here at West Point, but also some good food and get them and just fellowship time for them to just hang out and be college guys. So it's been really good.
Yeah, my last one is what's been your most maybe memorable play call in your 7 years so far as coordinator? I know it's a little bit of a loaded question. Comes to mind the 2-point conversion against San Diego State in the bowl game. That's one, but I'm sure that's just me off the top of my head. Do you have one that a couple that stick out, or one?
The ones you remember are the ones that don't go as well. You know what I mean? But no, that was I don't know. I would honestly probably the go-ahead touchdown against Navy the first time we beat them was one that I'll always remember. Just because everything that had gone into that point, all the hard work and people that didn't get to experience success playing football here for a long time, and all the people that game means so much to that were unable to brag to their friends for so long, and that it wasn't that it was a genius call. It was just as the quarterback zone. It's just the one that won the game, So that's why you remember it. But that one stands out. But,
awesome, Brent. Thanks for taking a couple minutes out after practice today, and all the best the rest of the spring. Black and Gold Gate coming up on Friday, and thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Anytime, Sal. Thanks a lot. Beat Navy.